All right, thank you guys. We are hitting at 65% in our last 17 college basketball tier package picks on BrockPage.com. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at BrockPage.com. We currently have over 1,015 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you find yourself really enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and join the Brock Page family. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. And with that, guys, Oklahoma takes on Central Florida, 2 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Oklahoma it's not even on our screen. Anyway, Oklahoma's -1.5, totals 138. The 5-1 Sooners are scoring 78 points a game, and they rank in the top 25 in offensive field goal percentage. Tanner Groves is scoring 15 points a game, 6 rebounds, 2 assists for the forward. Groves is also making 40% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Umoja Gibson is scoring 11 points a game, along with 11 total steals defensively. And speaking of defense, the Sooners are in the top 15 in the country in guarding the three ball. They're holding their opponents to just 24% shooting from three land. They're also allowing just 58 points a game. They're taking on a UCF squad who failed to cover in 2 out of their last 4. They're having a really hard time getting offensive rebounds. They're also giving up 36 second-half points a game. Now, total-wise, UCF saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the line. Meanwhile, Oklahoma went 4-1 of the over in their last 5. I'm going to lean toward Oklahoma -1.5 over 138. Next contest, it is going to be Rutgers versus Umass, 2 o'clock Eastern start time. Rutgers -2, total 138. Rutgers is on a 2-game losing streak, and they failed to cover the point spread in all 5 of their contests this season. Rutgers is averaging a dismal 63 points a game, and they shoot only 24% from beyond the arc. The Scarlet Knights are also making just 37% of their field goals. They're taking on a UMass team who won 2 out of their last 3, and they score 82 points a game. Trent Buttrick is scoring over 15 points a game, along with 4 rebounds. Meanwhile, CJ Kelly scoring 12.5 points a game, along with 3 rebounds himself. Kelly's also drilling 49% of his three-pointers. Now, injury-wise, Santos and Fernandez are questionable for UMass. But regardless, the Minutemen are averaging 45 second-half points a game. Total-wise, UMass saw their last 4 straight all get over the number. Meanwhile, 3 out of Rutgers' last 5 got over the line themselves. Give me UMass +2 over 138. Next contest, UCLA versus UNLV, 5 o'clock Eastern tip-off. UCLA is -10.5, numbers 139. The Bruins failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. They're also letting their opponents make nearly 40% of their three-pointers against them. They're taking on a running Rebel team who's 4-2 straight up for the season. And they play really good defense. The Rebels are allowing only 60 points a game, and they're holding their opponents to just 36% shooting from the field. As a matter of fact, the Rebels are in the top 30 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, scoring-wise, Bryce Hamilton scoring over 15.5 points a game, along with 3 rebounds, a couple assists as well. Meanwhile, Donovan Williams is scoring 11 points a game himself, along with 4.5 rebounds. Williams is drilling 43% of his three-pointers. And when it comes to the total on this one, UNLV's 4-1 of the under for the season. Meanwhile, UCLA saw their last 2 straight fall under the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward UNLV +10.5, under 139. Next ball game, it is going to be BYU versus Utah, 9:30 Eastern start time. BYU's -1.5, numbers 139, but as good as the Cougs have looked, they've been a marginal threat to shoot the 3 ball. BYU's making only 32% of their three-pointers. They also failed to cover the point spread in 2 out of their last 4 qualifying ball games. They're taking on an undefeated Utah team who's gone 4-1 against the spread in their 5 victories on the season. The Utes are in the top 3 in the country in offensive rebounding. Brandon Carlson is scoring over 15 points a game, along with 7 rebounds. The center is connecting on 40% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, David Jenkins is scoring nearly 15 points a game himself. He's connecting on 46% of his 3 balls. Jenkins is also drilling 90% of his free throws. Now, defensively, the Utes are definitely something special. They're allowing just 57 points a game, and they rank in the top 25 in defensive rebounding. Now, the Utes are also in the top 25 in defensive field goal percentage, and they're holding their opponents to just 26% shooting from beyond the arc. Now, total-wise, Utah's last 2 straight fell under the number. BYU's 3-1 of the under in their last 4. I'm going to lean toward Utah plus 1.5, under 139. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are hitting at 65% in our last 17 college basketball tier package picks. I like Oklahoma minus 1.5 over 138, Umass plus 2 over 138, UNLV plus 10.5 under 139, Utah plus 1.5 under 139. As far as all the other games go, I like Samford with an M minus 5.5 over 151, Delaware State plus 13.5 under 146, Detroit Mercy plus 7.5 under 146, NC State minus 4 under 142, Cincinnati minus 11 over 141, Navy Midshipmen minus 3 under 122.5, Colorado State minus 14 over 146, UNI plus 9.5 over 130. That's Northern Iowa, by the way. Davidson minus 14 over 137.5. South Dakota plus 12 over 144 and a hook. Pitt Panthers minus 5.5 over 132. Western Carolina plus 6.5 under 146. Bradley minus 15 over 120. Campbell minus 1.5 over 133. Bradley minus 15 over 125. Miami, Ohio minus 4 over 149.5. Southeast Missouri State plus 1.5 under 147. Charleston plus 8 over 147. Furman minus 16 over 145.5. Rhode Island minus 6.5 under 141. Air Force minus 2.5 under 122. Texas Tech minus 27.5 over 141. St. John's minus 21.5 over 144. Oregon State plus 1 under 133 and a hook. Western Michigan plus 4.5 under 141. Denver plus 11 over 135.5. Maryland Eastern Shore plus 21 over 121 and a hook. New Hampshire minus 7.5 over 133. Vermont minus 3.5 over 122 and a hook. Grand Canyon minus 3.5 over 134. Creighton minus 20.5 under 139. Temple minus 3.5 under $140. Wake Forest plus 7 over 143.5. Indiana minus 10.5 under 149. Kansas City plus 3.5 over 127. Florida Gulf Coast minus 8.5 over 143. Washington State minus 19.5 over 150. Arizona minus 28 over 142.5. Santa Clara minus 3.5 under 137. I'm also leaning toward North Dakota State minus 18 under 134. Marquette minus 21 over 136.5. I'm also leaning toward UT Arlington plus 16 under 138.5. Weber State minus 12 over 154 and a hook. Prairie View plus 15 under 138. Seattle minus 10 over 146 and a hook. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are hitting at 65% in our last 17 college basketball tier package picks on BrockPage.com. I'm going to lean toward Washington, the Huskies, -5.5, over $1.48. And with that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that's going to go to Big King Productions, who said earlier this morning, "Love you, Brock," from Buffalo, New York. And always, that's great. I love to see that kind of stuff in the comments section. Always good to feel the love. Great comment. I like that. I like that a lot, man. Buffalo, New York. I bet it's snowing in Buffalo right now. But anyway, Big King Productions. Really appreciate it, man. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on that website, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of November. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.